What's up guys, I'm Pugal. So today we are going to talk about the new M1 iMac. So this is a comeback of G3. So you'll just know how G3 will look like. So if you want to know what are the basic specs or what is iMac, so if you want that explanation, so link is right up here, so you can just click it and watch my videos. Then only you can just understand, or just the minimal explanation that I just can give it on that video. So make sure you check that. And today's video is the iMac. So what is it? Let's straight away get into the video. Okay, before going to the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button by swiping up if you're using a mobile, and scroll down and hit the subscribe button if you're using a PC or laptop. So it's pretty easy, 3 seconds, 3 steps. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So come on, I just wanted to. So the iMac's performance is pretty easy to explain. So the Mac Mini, so it also performs using the M1 chipset. So the iMac is also running the OS and all of the programs using the same M1 chipset. So the difference between the Mac Mini and the iMac is they just slightly improved the CPU and the GPU performance on the iMac. So it's pretty easy to explain. So there's not a huge performance upgrade on the iMac. So that's how easy it is to explain how the iMac performs. So that's it on the performance topic. So the accessories, so it's pretty easy to explain. So if you just choose the purple color, and the trackpad and the keyboard and the mouse, all of those will be matched with which color you just ordered. So it comes with the keyboard. At the high-end second and the first model has this Touch ID, so built in, so you can just make some payments or just unlock your iMac like that. So it's pretty easy, but the basic model does not have it. And after that it comes with the mouse. So the mouse is not a huge upgrade, so it just comes to the colored, so it just matches your iMac color. And the charger port is under this, so you can't just use it while the charger is out and just plugging in and just use it. So it's can't use it. So Apple, why don't you just remove it and just correct it? But they just don't do it. And after that comes with the colored trackpad. So that's it. So it comes with the charger brick. So the charger brick also comes with the gigabit Ethernet port. So there's not a separate port on the iMacs, so because of the thickness of the iMac. So after that, so it has this 3.5nm headphone jack at the side, where at the left side. So because of the thickness, so the iMac is only 11mm of thickness, which is pretty slim. So Apple just done a great job, but that's a pretty bad job while just doing a thickness, mainly focused on that. So okay, we will talk about it later, but they just don't have any space because the headphone jack, it's like 13mm of thickness, so it's pretty length. So they just don't have any space to put it on the back, so they just put it on the left side to just manage the thickness, so as they planned. So after that, that's it. So that is the overall accessories that you just get it, and with a magnetic charger port. So it's like a MagSafe, but it's pretty useful. So you just don't need to find where is the port, so you just need to plug in the charger cable, just like that. So it's pretty magnetic, so it just snaps in and it just arrives pretty closer to the port. So it's pretty easy. So good work, Apple. So the design, that is the main topic that just took a long time to explain how the design performs. So it's 11mm of thickness, is pretty slim. So Apple, but there is some problems. So there is still have the chin, so I'll just hate the chin. So I think Apple is planning to launch the Mac Pro without the chin. So but you can just remove it by adding some more length or thickness like that, so a couple of centimeters of thickness, so you just can remove the chin. So why the chin is like that? Okay, the chin is there because the motherboard and the fans, cooling fans, and also the speakers are at the chin. So because of the thickness, it's pretty small and it's pretty lightweight. Because of the thickness, it's only 11 mm of thickness, so it's pretty small. You can just, if you just see it like on the real world experience, you just will be like surprised, wow, it's like so thin. So Apple could just make it as a like a 3 to 2 centimeters more thickness to get rid of the chin. So Apple, please just don't make the chin appear like that, but you can just still use it for sticky notes like that. If you just don't use the Windows, so you'll just need sticky notes, so you can just stick a notes and just do your work pretty fast, pretty quickly like that. But me personally, I just don't like the chin. Apple, you can just remove the chin, but it's there, we can't just do anything. So we just hope the iMac Pro has the crazy chin like that. I'll just be like upset, but I hope the iMac Pro does not have a chin on it. It'll be like a bigger display or like that. Oh, talking about the display, it is a 4.5K display, which is pretty great, and with a 500 nits of brightness. So the 500 nits of brightness, it's like even the mid-range smartphone have a 1000 nits of brightness, but the iMac has only 500 nits of brightness. So if you're like sitting or placing your iMac at the side of the window, or a bright sunlight is shining on your room like that, so you'll just have a vision problem, like you can't just see the text or you can't just see the pictures pretty clearly, even though it has a 4.5K display. So Apple just could make it as a 1000 nits of brightness like that, so it will just do a great job, a better job. So but you just need to dimmer your lights, or you can't just sit besides the windows like that, so you'll need a darker room to display, or the feel, to get the feel of the 4.5K display. So Apple, why these are the like silly mistakes that Apple just makes? So I just don't know. I think that they just want to save cost as much as they could, so we can't just do anything. Okay, how Apple managed to make as like pretty thin iMac? Okay, because you know the Mac Mini, so it's also small because of the one main reason, the M1 chipset. So the M1 chipset is combined with the RAM, GPU and CPU and other things, and combined into one. So it's, you just don't need to put a RAM slot separately to make the board bigger, so they just shrink the motherboard because of the M1. So you just don't need to put a GPU separately, RAM separately, CPU separately to make the board bigger. And because the M1 and the motherboard is like so small, the thermal cooling, it just shrinks because of the motherboard size and the processor size. So because of this big movement that just Apple makes, so M1 just get rid of all the problems that they just face. So that is why the iMac is like so thin, 11 mm of thickness. So I hope, or I just like a rumor, so I'll just think that at the Mac Pro, when Apple just launches in like 2-3 years later, so they just come with a M2 or a M1 chipset. Who knows, maybe a 6 and a 7 months later they just launch the Mac Pro with the M1 or maybe M2 chipset, which is more powerful, and maybe the Mac Pro like shrink and just be like a this size. Who knows? But Apple, you just done a great job, but just can make it a bit thicker to just manage to keep the motherboard at the back. So to just get rid of it, the chin, the ugly chin, so I'll just hate it. That is the main downside if you want a bigger display to feel that 4.5K display. So it's pretty bad. So the bezel, the white bezel. So I know why Apple just put a white bezel without just putting a black bezel. So as the Western style, or most of us are like following the white tone, like if you paint a wall like a white theme, so it looks like a pretty clean looking, I like that. So most of us home are like painted with the white color. So Apple just managed to just sync with your house's color and with the iMac. So that's why they just managed to keep the white bezels without just keeping a black bezels. So if you want a black bezel thing, or if you just don't want the chin to be like that, to fill the 4.5K with the ugly chin, so you just need to probably see another monitor. So you just don't need to buy this, because you just don't have this kind of a terrible things. If you just replace with another cool monitor which also has a 4.5K like that, so that is why the bezel, the white bezel especially, is like that. So that's pretty much it. So that is how simple is it, like, to explain what is the iMac, how it performs, and how the design. So this video is mainly about the design, why they just managed to keep this small and thin with this pretty high spec processors, screens, or like that. So that is why I'll just focused on this video mainly on the design. So that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers. And by the way, so there is my latest video, it's like here, the keyboards review, and my playlist is here, so you can just watch any videos from my playlist. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you just tap on it, and it will just show subscribe, and just hit that subscribe button. It's pretty easy, right? Thanks for watching.